Who will our next generation be? What will they achieve? At Proctor Public Schools, we create an environment to educate, engage, and inspire our students to seek adventure, gain knowledge, and make a difference. Proctor Public Schools. We see greatness in our students and great things for their future. We educate, engage, and inspire.
All right. We'll call to order the regular school board meeting of Valentine's Day, February 14th, 2022. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. All right, we can go ahead with roll call when you're ready, Lynn.
McDonald.
Here.
Parmeter.
Here.
Peterson. Here. Pokranich.
Here.
Podgornik.
Here.
Shelton.
Here.
Ward.
Here.
Student liaison members Sydney Hedrick and Sophia Morin Swanson. Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 4 on the agenda is an approval of the agenda as presented in your electronic packet. Looking for a motion.
So moved by Amy.
There's a motion by Amy. Is there a second?
I'll second it. Parmeter.
Thank you very much, Kim. Does anyone have any questions regarding our agenda tonight? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? And that motion carries. Item number 5 is an approval of the minutes of the regular school board meeting from January 24th, 2022. We are looking for a motion to approve.
I'll make it, Larry.
Thank you very much, Larry. Is there a second?
I'll second it, Jim.
Thank you, Jim. Does anyone have any questions regarding those minutes from January 24th? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And those opposed? And that motion carries. Next is a motion that will look for the approval of the minutes of the special school board meeting of February 3rd, 2022. Looking for a motion.
So moved by Amy.
There's a motion by Amy. Is there a second?
I'll second it, Larry.
Thank you very much, Larry. Does anyone have any questions regarding those minutes from our special school board meeting? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And those opposed? And that motion carries. Moving on to the finance report. This motion will include the approving the payment of a bill dated January 24th, 2022 in the amount of $51,405, covering check 112125, and also the payment of bills dated February 14, 2022 in the amount of $302,424.38, covering checks 112126 through 112305. Looking for a motion.
So moved.
There's a motion by Lynn. Is there a second?
I'll second that, Joe.
I'll take Joe. Is that okay?
Yep.
Great. Does anyone have any questions on the finance report tonight? I'm good. All right. Hearing none, then all those in favor say aye.
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 And those opposed? That motion carries. Moving on to commendations and congratulations. The board would like to recognize Lois O'Leary and her drama students, Cece Parmeter, Kirsten Beto, Reagan Pazik, Racelyn King, Piper Allen, Maya Hansen, Claire Lund, and Alexis Kutcher for their participation in the one-act play competition on January 29th. The board would like to congratulate Winter Homecoming royalty Maribeth Cook, Morgan Montgomery, Sophia Morin Swanson, Peyton Rodberg, Maisie Roweeder, Colin Aho, Dylan Holla, Sam Johnson, Revan King, and Josh Knight. Maisie Roweeder and Josh Knight were crowned king and queen. The board would like to commend Tim Roweeder, Barb Rands, Heidi Voss, Susie Hartwick, Wayne Miskin, Stephanie Wrench, Kaylee Towers, and everyone who helped make the Winter Homecoming Assembly a success. Commend Gordy Westendorf and chaperones Katie Sandor, Anne-Marie Roden-Bergman, Cindy Roden, Tim and Kara Roweeder, Ted and Carrie Kiefat, Craig and Melissa Honkala, Amber Lowell, Lauren Winter, Paige Stanslavsky, and Officer Matt Rydell for making Snowball a successful event. Mary Hall did an awesome job DJing. The board would like to congratulate Peyton Rodberg for scoring her 1,000th career point. We'd like to recognize school board members for their dedication to education, our students, and our community. School Board Recognition Week is February 21st through 25th, 2022. And Mr. Engelking sent your recognition certificates around for you as well. The board would like to recognize our bus drivers for the outstanding job they do transporting our students safely to and from school. School Bus Driver Appreciation Week is Appreciation Day, is February 23rd, 2022. Congratulations to the following Nordic skiers for qualifying for state: Della Bettendorf, Aiden Van Straten, Elijah Wozniak, Luke Bettendorf, Santiago Lenz, Hendrik Hicks, Josh Knight, and Braden Mealy. The state tournament is February 16th through 17th at Giants Ridge. Lots of exciting things happening in our district. Is there anything else that we should commend students or staff for today because of timeliness? All right, keep these good commendations coming and just let Lori know and we'll add them to the next agenda. We will then move on to public comment. The time of public comment at the school board meeting is a time where we offer an opportunity for members of the public to address the board. Once we move from public comment, members of the public will no longer be allowed to address the board. As a general rule, the board will listen to members of the public but will not comment on or respond to any comments made by speakers. The board will not engage in dialogue, though any board member may ask questions. Please do not include the names of Proctor Public School students, employees, their title, or building location in your remarks for your own legal protection and the legal rights of our staff. Issues related to school district employees can be made in writing and can be directed to the Human Resources Department at Proctor Public Schools. Each speaker will have 3 minutes to speak. Speakers may not roll their time to another speaker. Please begin your presentation by stating your name, including the spelling, and who you represent if applicable. In the spirit of fairness to all participants, we request that you respect this format. Thank you for taking the time today to attend this meeting and to share your concerns. Is there anyone here tonight that would like to address the board during public comment? Sir, if you'd like to go ahead and take the podium, we'd be happy to listen. Thank you.
All right, so sitting over here in the corner, I don't know if this is a product of the room,
can you say your name?
Or, I'm sorry, my name's Tom Covington, parent of a student at Proctor. I've had one student graduate. I spoke back in September during the, I gotta take this thing off, all right? Because as we've seen from all of our public and government officials, a podium is magic. Germs don't spread from a podium because they can take the mask off at a podium. I wrote a letter to every school board member here. They were all on the same deal earlier this week, or last week rather. And I want to thank the ones that replied. You know who you are. Every countries, states, everybody right now are taking masks off of everything except our kids. It's time to get rid of the masks. You know, we've been through since September, you know, with the masks, and yet we've got students missing 3 months or 3 weeks worth of school that aren't even positive, COVID positive. My own son missed 3 weeks of school because his mom tested positive. This is getting ridiculous. We're not playing by the same rules as everybody else, except the schools. Several schools have dropped mask mandates, and the kids are happy. They can hear what's going on. Listening to you guys sitting in that chair where I was at, I can't hear you. I don't know if it's the masks or if it's just, you know, or what it is. Your microphones, they might work real well for the public or for your rail, the rail stream. They don't work for in this room. And if it's the mask that's blocking what you're saying, imagine what our kids are going through at school, trying to hear their teachers. I've been to the school since the mask mandate went in. You can walk into several rooms. You can walk into offices. I'm not going to give names. I'm not going to give offices because we don't want to, and that's fine. I agree with that. But teachers, staff, they're in their room by themselves until somebody, without a mask, until somebody walks in. Yet our children are being told to put a mask on before they get on the bus, and they're not allowed to take it off until they get home. What are we doing to our kids? Serious, this has gotten out of control with our children. You know, we talk about Proctor being a safe place, not bullying anybody. Yet, we're bullying our kids into wearing a mask, whether they believe in it or not. We're bullying our staff into getting vaccinated, whether they believe in it or not. It's time to end it. It's time to put the freedoms that so many of us fought for back on the front page of this country and in this school. Proctor can be a leader. We failed that. We're falling behind everybody else. We're just falling in stride with everybody else. My son is on the band, and they were so happy to go play for a pep rally in Hermantown because they didn't have to wear a mask with a hole cut in it so that they could play their instrument. This has just gotten out of control. I hope you all revisit your stay. I know you can't reply to anything, but I hope you revisit your policy. It's just gone on too far. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else here tonight that would like to speak during public comment? I'd like to move someone from items for discussion and information. Anthony Wood is here for a presentation with the operations report from St. Luke's Sports and Event Center and Rails Indoor. Thank you, Mr. Wood.
All right, I handed out the forms. I don't really have anything to compare it to last year because of the pandemic, obviously. So I kind of tried to go off of the 2020 year. So starting with the walking track. Pre-COVID, we were probably around 50 walkers by the time in a typical day because we had anywhere from 2 to 3 fitness classes up here, which averaged 15 to 20 people in community ed, and then that kind of transpired out there, and we had the normal day walkers as well. That obviously during the COVID shifted to very few, and now it's slowly started to walk back up to 15 to 30 a day. We also they've started to come in the office, and I've actually been getting more phone calls during the day about can they walk on weekends and all that stuff. Weekends is a little hard to specify because it's based off of when the first event is. So I do my best to try and explain that, but it is good to see the people that were coming before starting to come back and feeling comfortable to come back. Networking, so we do have a Twitter page. I'm fortunate to have UMD interns that run that. That is a huge relief for me. Social media is not my forte, so it's nice to have them be able to do it, and coaches and everybody can send them stuff to work on it. Community room, so we are down to 1 class twice a week. That is run by, it's not run by St. Luke's, it's run through community ed. That used to be 3 classes Tuesdays and Thursdays, but we are down to 1. So I'm glad they're back. That's a starting point, so hopefully we can continue to grow. I know she, and Rika's going to attest, she comes in the office every day and talks to us, so super good group. I'm just glad they're back. Community education, previously they would have been more than 15, but we're at 15, give or take, this year right now. That'll continue to grow as we go through the school year. The room hosts Proctor staff developments, area staff developments, school board meetings such as this, spaghetti dinners for many teams. Currently we have 3 grad parties aligned for June. We also have a few at the indoor facility as well, which is a good spot. Proctor Police Department does some trainings here, leadership camps and mental health trainings as well. Ice rentals, Actually, I would say last summer were up just because people were trying to get back to the rink because they weren't able to be on the ice during the pandemic. Broom ball has taken kind of a dip, so the guy that runs Vintage Sports, Mr. Spencer, he is in charge of broom ball. He hasn't really gotten back into the swing of it this year. We do have all the equipment though, and we have had our students, when they came over here, they have played broom ball. Open skate, if you come Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 to 11, there's a pretty good group that comes. If you come a little earlier, you see the retired guys that come and play pickup hockey. It's kind of cool. They come and talk all the time too. Super good group. Duluth Warriors is here. Youth tournaments this year were all full, which is super exciting. Second year in a row. Well, I guess I shouldn't say they were full going into the pandemic. I guess I don't know exactly how that ended up going through there, but they were full this year. Pionk is back with his camps, which is super exciting. He'll start in March. Hofbauer has his camps as well. The Refs Association has their ref training here in the early fall. So we have the Bantam B region tournament that is this weekend, correct, Regis? Yep. So the Bantam B region tournament is this weekend here. And then Duluth figure skating, so during the pandemic they were here almost every day, I want to say. But now with students back in school, they are not as here as frequent as they were. Summer, we do have the Battle of the Bay tournament. We also now have the Wing Showdown tournament. Rail Summer Camp, I don't have that information yet, but we will. Same with the Mirage Summer Camp. Emma does the U8 camp for the Mirage. And then obviously we'll have open skate for adults and youth as we get closer, a punch pass type system. Iron Range Goalie Academy, he runs a goalie camp. Cool thing is now he is actually working with our Mirage and Rails goalies. So it's kind of a cool partnership that has conformed with that. Rentals are trending up this year. I had a bunch of calls today for AAA, which is super exciting. So rentals for the summer are revving up already. Turf field, we host at Lake Superior College again. Flag football, local soccer. The nice thing with sections now going to high seed, we were fortunate enough to be the high seed in many of our teams, so we were able to host some playoff games, which was super exciting. The Rails Indoor, if anybody looks at that calendar, is crazy packed. It's nice being the only indoor facility in the area. It's crazy packed. If I didn't have college students, or I mean, I could live over there, to be honest with you, how busy it is. So it's super cool and super good for our community. Blackwoods has commented they get people, when they have adult groups there, they get comments that they get groups there to come and eat after. So it is bringing an impact to our community. I haven't talked to Quick Trip, but I can only imagine them and Holiday do get people to stop on that as well. Duluth PD did a training about a month ago up there. CSS runs a youth league, which that youth league they run actually pays for their men's team to go over to London as a team, which is super cool. They run a college league. CSS baseball, UMD women are up there. AUSA soccer, lacrosse, softball, baseball. Vintage Sports Camp is there all summer from 6:30 a.m. till 5:30 p.m. That's a community ed venture. We had the Bear Grease in there last month, so they do that every year. Lastly, concessions. Concessions compared to last year is obviously up, just in general. So it'll be interesting to compare it to the previous year before that, because last year it's hard to base it off of that. But sponsorships are up. Talked to the hotel; they're super happy having that winner, having the first ever boys hockey tournament here. We helped build their tournament over helped build their hotel over Christmas. They like that. The restaurants, like I said, they're happy. They're getting people in, and continued collaboration with St. Luke's and community education. It'll be fun. I've got a spring intern starting. He's actually a exam driver here for his college business class. He actually has to intern, so we have partnered, and he'll be interning with me going through the spring. So he's going to we're going to kind of challenge him and give him some different projects to work on, which I think will be super cool. And then, just continuing to grow. You can see it starting to grow now as we come through the pandemic. Just kind of see it work its way up. So exciting things. I mean, everyone still comes in and says this is the nicest hockey arena in the area. Even with Virginia being built, we still have many compliments. So it's a testament to you guys for helping get this built. You talked about Nordic. I just want to comment. So it's the first time the boys team has gone since 1997. So 25 years. Josh Gookins, the coach, was on that team. Their banquet, they did not have a banquet, so I went over there at 5:30. We served them pizza, and then I got them some other goodies for tomorrow. So they will have, during rail time at 8:30 tomorrow, will be their pep assembly, and then we moved it up to 3 o'clock. That will be their send-off from Uggstead Circle. So we have the bus and everything aligned. I've talked to the police department, fire department, everybody's good to go at 3 o'clock tomorrow. So if anybody is interested in the send-off, 3 o'clock tomorrow at Uggstead Circle. Super exciting. And then hopefully we've got another potential state team Wednesday night, 7 o'clock in Virginia. The Mirage are playing Duluth Marshall for hopefully what will be a trip back to state next week. So we could be on to more send-offs and all that fun stuff. So exciting times here, and appreciate the time, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Anthony at all regarding St. Luke's Event Center or the Rails Indoor or updates in athletics? Thank you for the trinkets.
Yeah, Ian Sherber got a sticker maker, so he wanted me to pass those along to you guys. So if you guys need stickers, I actually thought they turned out pretty good.
Yeah.
For being his first batch. So I
I
got
like
more.
the old school gold.
Yeah, so he did a survey, and it was between 800 and 1,000, somewhere in there. I don't know specifically. It was 75% asked for the gold was back, so that's where the gold kind of came back into that piece. So yeah, we'll see how that goes.
So, Anthony.
Yeah.
Madam Chair, if I could.
Yeah.
Especially with our walking track, because that was so popular as soon as we opened up.
Yeah.
And I see that Jake stepped out, but if we could run a story on our website and in the journal and any other outlet that we have, letting people know the hours and that,
That's a good idea.
and what the regulations are, what we
Yeah.
have going on here.
Yep.
And then one other thought I had is we've got now quite a few elderly care homes just in town here, but
Yep.
also in our whole school district. If we can reach out and partner with them, they go on field trips.
Yeah.
If they could come, and even if a elderly person or a needs person is in a wheelchair, somebody can push them around, and especially if we got events going on, I think it would be really good for them.
Yeah,
good for us for
100%.
exposure.
And we had the one in town used to come. Now, actually, no, I take that back.
Yeah.
The one in Hermantown used to come, and they have not in a while. So that's actually good. I'm going to create a.
That's what made me think of it.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. I'm going to get a flyer and send that out. So
Cool.
I'll share it with you guys for approval, and then I'll get it out.
Share with them.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Thank you.
I could probably do it tomorrow. Wednesday, I'm going to be gone for Nordic and the Mirage, but I will get it to you this week.
Awesome. Great. Love it. Thank you for
I
the
forgot.
update.
Now you said that. Yeah.
Excellent, Woody, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Did you need something, Jake? Oh, okay. We'll get back to you.
I didn't put 'em in.
All right. Is there anyone else here tonight during?
He's listening.
Okay. Okay, great. Got it. All right. Is there anyone else here tonight during public comment that would like to take the time to speak? All right, we'll close public comment then and move on to the consent agenda, item number 10. Looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented in your electronic packets.
So moved by Amy.
There's a motion by Amy. Is there a second?
I will second it, Larry.
Thank you very much, Larry. Does anyone have any questions tonight? All right. Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
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 And those opposed? And that motion carries. Moving on then to items for individual action. Item number 11A. Approve the Pay Equity Implementation Report and the Compliance Report for 2022, dated January 28, 2022. The school board is responsible for formally approving the Pay Equity Report. This is a mandatory report which is submitted every 3 years. Looking for a motion?
So moved.
There's a motion by Lynn. Is there a second?
Second by Amy.
Thank you very much. Does anyone have any questions?
Steve, I did have a question. Down on the bottom, there was an item, and I didn't know what that was. It was way down on the bottom, and there was some kind of a percentage thing.
Are you talking about the exceptional
Yeah. that might have-
pay?
No, it was the category. I just didn't.
Exceptional service pay test.
Yeah, what is that? Okay. 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 I was just curious, you know, what was exceptional? I like to look for the positive, so I was looking for
We
something.
passed the pay equity report, that's positive, that's what
Okay.
we want to know.
All right. Thank you.
And it was exceptional.
And it was exceptional.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, any other questions? All right. Hearing none then, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed? And that motion carries. Item number 11B, adopt a resolution of accepting gifts received. January 14, 2022 from Pike Lake Presbyterian Church, a gift of $100 with a suggested use of the Pike Lake Special Ed program. And on January 14, 2022 from Proctor Pie, a gift of $471.57 with the suggested use of ECFE. Looking for a motion to approve these gifts. I'll make the motion. Is there a second?
Yeah, I'll second.
Thank you, Jim. Any questions at all? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed? And that motion carries. Moving on then to items for discussion and information, we'll open with the superintendent update from John.
Good evening.
Good
I'll
evening.
start with curriculum and instruction and talk a little bit about what's going on. And certainly, this is the time of the year when our high school students begin looking at course registration. And so course registration manuals are being finalized. Some of the highlights of those are that we're adding some college in the schools classes for art for next year, which is something that we really don't have right now. So we're looking at ceramics for one, and then art and design, which is some other things that our art students can take advantage of. We're also working with the Minnesota Department of Education to develop a system for awarding credits to students who are now taking advantage of work experience in their daily schedules. And so that really feeds well into our Pathways program. And our Pathways program is really hitting a stride right now. And Tim and Sarah are doing such a good job building really solid business relationships and partnerships. And so it's going to be interesting to see where Pathways takes us as we start to look at K-12 infusion into understanding what we can do for our kids. We're also planning some comprehensive summer school programming using COVID-19 funds. We did that last year as well. One of the real world exciting things that happened with our third graders was that they sent letters with one of the mushers on the bear grease, and then they got replies back, and those letters went all the way to Grand Portage, and it's really cool. They could follow those, and Celia Symes is from Grand Marais, so she knows those mushers out there, and I know her mother pretty well from Grand Marais, so it was really nice for her to get involved and get those third graders involved in that. We also have 4 juniors and seniors who received scholarships to get their CNA training and licensure this week, which is, and Jennifer, you'd know more what that entails than I would, but it's a certified nursing award. I don't know what the A stands for. So that again is part of our Pathways program and our collaboration with ESCO schools as well. We're still doing it with ESCO, aren't we? I think so. management and leadership, a lot of things happening there. Certainly I met with Tim and Sarah to review their new roles and responsibilities moving into the second part of the year. I did attend a special meeting of the Northern Lights Academies to review facilities, and we are still looking at building or leasing a new facility for our level 4 setting. Those are kids that no longer are in our school. They're attending special education classes over in Cloquet at this point. Yeah, we just need to do something better for them. So we're looking at perhaps some special legislation to grant fund a new building. And we'll bring you more information on that. And certainly I'm planning on having Dina from Special Education over in Cloquet come in and talk with all of you. I attended the Northeast Service Cooperative Board of Directors meeting. That was the organizational meeting for 2021-22. And one of the things that I want to draw your attention to is that we continue to meet with our administrative team, principals, our school nurses, and St. Louis County Public Health to review mitigation strategies and how we move forward as we move into an endemic. We're looking very closely at infection rates and positivity rates. And positivity rates took a big drop last week, 42% drop, but our infection rates are still very, very high. And the recommendation of Minnesota Department of Health and St. Louis County Public Health, they're still recommending that we stay real vigilant until we get through this spike. And it looks like this spike is going to continue to decrease. And as it does, those mitigation strategies are going to be able to be reviewed. Tomorrow I'm meeting again with our administrative team and our entire health team, including St. Louis County Public Health, to review what we should do for students that need to isolate. Right now our staff is in a 5-day isolation if you're positive. We still have 10 days for our kids, so we're going to review that 10-day and perhaps talk about reducing that to 5 days. But again, it all is dependent on what infection rates are. And so we really want to hold tight to being smart about that all through this pandemic. Our metric has been the advice and recommendations from Public Health, the Department of Health, and the CDC. And so that is that's kind of the metric we use. You know, we look at what's a number. There are a lot of schools talking about removing mask requirements and having those change. I think there will be a point when we can do that this year. I don't think it's in February. And so we're going to be discussing that tomorrow. And then we'll also be discussing the possibility of having a rail-safe meeting to further expand on what public health and what our numbers are looking like, and the recommendation from Minnesota Department of Health. And so I don't know if you watched the news today, but Amy Westbrook was on television talking a little bit about staying vigilant and where we are and what we're doing, and I think everybody is ready to make a change, to move forward, but to move forward using the same kind of decision making and the same kind of thoughtful regard to the safety of our kids throughout the rest of the year. So those are some of the things that are happening, related to COVID-19 and in our continued vigilant investigation on, where we go next with this. I attended 2 regional superintendent meetings looking at COVID trends. Also, those meetings entailed discussions of information from MASA and MREA, and I would bring your attention board members to the round of legislation coming to the forefront dealing with schools, and a couple of those are legislation that is aimed at giving parents more voice in their school, and I pay special attention to what those legislative plans are, and what those bills are sitting in legislative review right now. I also attended and chaired the Northeast Service Cooperative Superintendent's Advisory Council and the Insurance Advisory Council. And just a reminder that we're leaving Blue Cross as a district, and Medica will be our new carrier starting next year. I think Medica is going to do a fine job. I think they're a caliber insurance company. It's sort of no one. It's like you know, the adage is that nobody likes the way things are, but nobody likes change either. And so we're going to move forward with the change, and I think we're going to like what we see. Facilities and transportation. We're currently reviewing transportation budgets and costs. We'll be doing a review, a first half review of our transportation department and what's going on in transportation this week. We've also filled most of the vacancies we have in maintenance and in custodial staff, and so that was a long time coming. So you approved a new maintenance person tonight. Thank you for doing that. We also, you know, if you drive around, you see some of our banners on light posts in our schools, and there's one on Kirkus Street that the banner's kind of crooked a little bit. It's impossible to get out there in the wintertime, so we have Advantage Awning to do that with their professional crews. So they're going to be replacing all those torn and tattered banners. So if you're seeing those, that repair is on the way. And then last but not least, some really nice stories on our district in Fox. Also WDIO did a story on our blinking lights for safety, and probably the most touching story I've seen in a long time was the story from WDIO on under 18 and Phoenix Koski. If you don't know Phoenix, you should get to know her, because she is an amazing young lady, and it was a great story, and I was really, really proud of her. So that's a little bit of what's going on across the district, and I look forward to bringing more information about that Rail Safe meeting that has the potential of taking place on Wednesday.
Board members, do you have any questions for John that you'd like to further elaborate on?
I guess I do regarding the Rail Safe meeting. I know right now our guidelines are a little more stringent than the CDC guidelines. So I guess I would ask that we review that, because for kids that are in dance or karate or even hockey, the message we're sending them is that you can't go back to school yet, but you can go back to your activity, because most people are following those CDC guidelines. So I would just ask that we review that there, because it's really kind of going to hurt our kids here if they're going to be out for 10, 14 days, whatever it is, but then
10.
they can still go do their activities.
That's 10.
Okay, thank you. Anything else?
Yeah.
It would impact our costs.
Well, I think
way.
it was reflective of switching to two-tier busing would have a positive impact on costs. We're reviewing that right now to see if that truly is the fact. And I'll just talk a little bit. I was going to mention this, but start times For next year, of course, that's one of the discussions that our administrative team is having. Are we going to keep the same start times? Are we going to be in a two-tier busing environment or not? And certainly, from my standpoint, I would love to go back to a common start, and get our kids to school at 8 o'clock in the morning, except for Pike Lake, and I think it's the best thing for our elementary kids. So we're going to continue to look at that and see where that takes us, and we have to make that decision rather quickly, as we start to plan for next year, and certainly we'll bring that to our board for their decision. It's a big decision, when we're going to start our kids. We can leave things the way they are, but I don't like the way they are. I don't think most people do like the way they are. The reason that they are the way they are is because we had to provide buses that had some social distancing, and a lot of those things have changed. As we look forward to making changes, Tom made some points tonight about what are you going to do? What are you going to be thinking about when you move forward with that? And I think those are some of the things that we are looking at. Can we? Are we going to be able to run our buses like normal? And are we going to be able to bring our kids in and have them experience school the way we all experience school? No one likes this, but I think we've done things that were prudent, and I think we were never. I don't think we ever wavered on how we made decisions, and a lot of school districts did the same thing, and some school districts were very conservative about that and didn't have masks, and then bounced back and forth, and now we need to shut a class down. We never had to do that. Certainly, no one likes the way things are. And so that's why we have to be really vigilant about looking at what we're going to do for next year, including those start times.
Thank you. Anything else? All right. Then we are on to 12C, new superintendent search update. The only update I think we have is that just a reminder to board members that we have an applicant pool to review before Wednesday's meeting. Wednesday's meeting will be 6 p.m. in the library at the high school due to some scheduling things here that wouldn't be conducive to a meeting here. Lee will be joining us via Zoom, but we'll have the meeting just like we did here the other day. We have he sent some information out today. We have to just look at the final list of questions that we've approved that we talked about last meeting, and then decide on our second interview questions, and then just review the I haven't looked at it thoroughly because it just came this morning, the feedback form that we'll offer people during the second interviews. I believe Lori has reached out to the different groups that we had identified at our last meeting regarding interviews to take place, the second interview, correct? That's when we were inviting everyone to? If we're not, just making sure I'm right here.
Yep, I believe.
So that would be March 3rd.
Be
March 3rd. So I need to check with Lori again regarding the March 3rd, shall we say, guest list. And it's my understanding that on Wednesday, MSBA will be making a suggestion of who they would see us most likely to interview. I know I kind of came up with my list of people that I'm interested in seeing, so let's see how they match up. Just remember that we have to identify them by letter name, not by any telling traits like where they might be working right now or any other identifiables. The public will have redacted, let's say, resumes for the second interview, March 3rd. So, questions, Clarifications? When?
It's my understanding that MSBA is asking us to bring Chromebooks or laptops to the meeting on Wednesday, just a reminder.
Okay.
Yes, because I think we have to keep everything in that portal.
Yes.
Pardon me?
Yeah, nothing is printed at this point, so you'll need to review some of the resumes and letter of interest and the questions that the candidates have asked, right? Or
Yeah,
answered?
but I think he also wants it because he was having some problems hearing us at the last meeting.
Okay,
So he's trying to figure out a way to make that happen.
sure. Thanks for that. I appreciate that.
So,
Bring your tote bag.
Madam Chair, the redacted resumes, I believe are being required to be at the Wednesday meeting as well, but they are so redacted that there's
Okay,
all of the applicants'
sure.
resumes.
Okay,
I mean, because nothing's public
Right.
until you pick the finalist.
right. And MSBA is in charge of doing all of that, so whatever is provided is what we have available. Okay. Sounds good. Anything else on that?
So if we have feedback or questions, that's when we're going to kind of bring those there, right?
About the questions that we
The
came up
order,
with,
I
the
guess.
order?
Yeah.
Well, Lynn, do you want to speak to the order?
Actually, I had a question to Lee about when, or the order of the questions, and should they be grouped in a particular way. And his suggestion was that in the number that they have done, that they leave it as how they're listed right now.
Okay.
Um,
I'm sure that
I said they
There's
have
value
done
to
far
that.
more superintendent searches than I have, so, but that was just a question I had about grouping questions in categories.
that's where I was at. But I mean, I can see the value to what they're saying.
Yep.
I can understand why they do that. So
Yep.
that works for me then.
Okay.
All right. Okay, I guess we'll move on then to item number D. Annual township meetings are scheduled for March 8th. And we have, let's see here, Midway, Kenosha, Solway, Grand Lake. Does anyone have their calendars out for March 8th?
It's a Tuesday. I did not have one last time, so
Okay.
yeah, I haven't done Solway.
Okay.
I can do Solway.
Okay.
I did Midway, I think,
We'll do
2
Grand Lake.
times before, or whatever.
Grand Lake, Larry?
I think Midway's at 8 p.m. if I'm not mistaken.
8:15 it says on here.
8:15?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Kenosha and Midway are the two that we need.
Kim, are you busy that night? Would you like your township, or do you want me to go? Okay. I'm able to attend. I'm off. I work at 4 the next morning, but that's okay. Let me know if you would like to attend. Otherwise, I'll keep it on my calendar. You can let me know next meeting. Okay.
So the only one I don't have filled is Kenosha.
So typically John puts talking points together for us that we can just breeze through. Usually I just touch on the most important things that might be something that the township might like. Jim, do you have one have you gone yet? Kenosha?
Yes, that's the one.
How about Kenosha, Pike Lake? Perfect.
So last year Kenosha preferred just a written report. I
Oh.
think Lynn went to ask questions, answer questions.
I went to Solway.
Oh,
I did not
but,
go to Kenosha.
Grand Lake
Yeah.
might have too, didn't they?
Kevin Comnick said, you know, we're So I will check with.
Will you check?
Okay.
I'll check to see what kind of report each.
So that would be Jim. So
Yeah.
if they just want a written, then just let Jim know.
Yeah, we'll just provide the
Okay.
talking
Mhm.
points, and then Jim can be there if there's questions.
Okay.
But I'll find out at each township what kind of report they'd like.
Sure. Thank you for doing that. And Jen, I can. You got it? Okay.
Is that
Sounds good.
Midway, Kim?
Yep, that's Midway. My home district. All right. Thank you, everyone. Public relations update is the next item on the agenda. Items relating to the district from the Proctor Journal, highlighting our Student of the Week for January 27th, Reverend King. Lots of homecoming coverage February 3rd. Student of the Week is Merib Cook. February 10th, Student of the Week is Shanna Isaacs. And items relating to the district from Fox 21 on January 31st, Blinking Lights for Safety, and WDIO on February 1st, Proctor partners with St. Luke's for the Safety Lights, another story. And then, of course, February 3rd, The Amazing Under 18, Phoenix's story. Moving on to item number 13, reports, school board committee reports, and you'll see in your packet the staff development report was there. And are there any other meetings that happened?
We had an activities meeting on Monday, so that will be there for next one.
Okay.
Just kind of covering the spring sports. One thing that was brought up that I thought I'd mention, some of the teachers have been reaching out to some of the coaches, and they're seeing a lot of positive behavior and good kids this year in their classes, which I thought was a really nice thing for them to call out and say. So not only are we moving in the right direction with our sports, but we're also seeing some real growth with our youth. So kind of cool to hear that.
Thank you. In your packet, you'll see the.
We also
go
had
ahead.
community ed advisory late last week, and also curriculum advisory was tonight, so they'll be in the next packet.
Wow. You've been busy, Lynn.
I have.
All right. Enrollment report for February 2022 is in your packet. This will reflect semester 2 changes. Any questions at all that you need clarification on? All right. Communications, school board comments and observations. Board members, anything to share?
I have one thing that I wanted to bring up last meeting, but since we were on Zoom, it was really hard for me. But the first thing I want to say is if anybody's here on Friday night when we had that high school game, I've never seen this place so busy and active. I actually was having to run and help in the concession. I wasn't assigned, but they had literally a line that looped around of people just waiting. And so it was really kind of fun to just see and all ages in the community there and just having a good time. So it was fun. But yeah, the poor girls in concession, I can't even imagine. It was really crazy. I mean, so that was good. But the one thing that I wanted to bring up at the last board meeting, but I didn't want to just because it's hard with Zoom, was policy 491 is still out there. And, that was based on the OSHA standards and the ETS. And being that there was a ruling, we don't need the policy out there, and the purpose states all of those compliance things. So technically the policy isn't valid. So I don't know what the plans are with that at this point.
Minnesota School Boards Association's advice is that part of the policy states that should the ETS be void, this policy is void. So it, in effect, there's a voidability clause within the policy itself. So they suggest just leave it.
Yeah, we talked to Terry about that too, and he said just leave it.
Okay, so we still have it out there, it's just not an enforced policy.
Because
at
it
this
has
point.
a clause in there that says it's not enforced.
Okay.
Yeah.
491,
491.
that's the mandatory COVID vaccine testing or face covering PDF. I just read it right off my screen. Policy.
Yeah, no, we
That
had
was-
asked that question kind of right after it all came apart, and they sent a bulletin and a note that just said to leave it.
Yeah, I know when I went down to MSBA and we were in the same meeting for that one, they were saying like even if you were an early adopter and you're still waiting for that, it was good to have that policy approved right away. Otherwise there's a risk. You remember that conversation? But then I was just wondering now that it's literally 20 minutes after we had that conversation, the Supreme Court came through. So I understand why we did it. I just was curious about how we handle that. So I'll look. I'm sure the clause is in there and I just missed it. So I'll look in there. Unless you have the exact email of it. If you do, great. If not, no big deal. I can look through it. I'm just curious.
I'm sure I have it somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay. Because you never know if you're going to have something like this again, right?
I know. Anything
Anything?
for you, Kim? All right, Jim? Mr. Shelton?
I wish, John, you would update us on your rail safe meeting to see we need to move away from these masks, like you say. No matter where you go, kids are running at the ski hills, they're running in and out with no mask. You go to Target, nobody's got masks. So we need to seriously look at, is it time to pull them, because anywhere you go, you don't need them no more. And yeah, we keep their mask on in school, but the minute they're out on the ski hill or out at Target, they're running without them. So there's got to be a happy medium in there. That's all.
Yeah, and I think there is some, I've gone to walk around the hallways. I do see where, and I'm not blaming anybody, but it's hard when you have a bunch of kids that are, you're doing this while you're talking, and sometimes their masks are down. So I'm sure there's a lot of administrative work that's going into that too for the staff, just to remind kids to put them back up.
So it's just time to make a change.
Joe? Good.
I always have something.
I know. That's okay.
If you have never been to an appropriate, safe, and kind assembly at Bayview Elementary, you need to do that. It is the most uplifting thing to see kids get little paper certificates, and not the recipient who is so excited, but the rest of the kids excited for the person receiving it. It just shows that their behavior program is working. And and they've got the music going and the kids are excited. I of course start crying because it's just unbelievably wonderful. But if you've never seen one, you need to see one. I videotaped a little bit if anybody wants to see them. They're rocking and they're so excited. Also, should we talk about book vending machines? Can I talk about that?
Free world.
Yeah.
Well, community ed, this is interesting because Jenny Gajewski and I, well, now she's Jenny Lundberg, a couple of years ago talked about doing book vending machines, and they're in the elementary schools. They can be at any level, but we just so happened to talk about them at the elementaries, and then COVID hit, so then that kicked that in the trash. But Crystal Burke called me the other day and said, have you thought about book vending machines? And so book vending machines are going to be purchased at the 2 elementary schools, and then the way that we will keep them supplied with books is we get scholastic dollars at our book fairs, and so we will keep that going. So kids will be rewarded for a variety of behavior things, and they'll be able to take their little coin and get a book. And it's just the coolest program. So I am beyond excited that the book vending machines are coming. They'll be here in, was it 16 weeks, Steve? Yeah, so it'll be a while, but they'll be there to usher in the new school year.
Super fun.
Oh, it's super I can't wait.
And just to clarify, they're being purchased out of community ed funds.
Yes, they are.
It's not out of general.
However, there could be another potential granting opportunity, but I'm not going to talk about that right now. Just saying.
Oh boy. All right. Anything else, Lynn? I'm good too.
I'm good. It's
All right.
Valentine's
Our
Day.
student liaisons must be celebrating Valentine's Day in sports. They aren't here tonight, and I missed them. Township and city communications. We went over township stuff already. Anything to add? All right. Number 15 is a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
I'll second.
Thank you, Lynn. Any questions at all? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. We're adjourned at 8:04. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Who will our next generation be? What will they achieve? At Proctor Public Schools, we create an environment to educate, engage, and inspire our students to seek adventure, gain knowledge, and make a difference. Proctor Public Schools. We see greatness in our students and great things for their future. We educate, engage, and inspire